Bullets. 8 of them. Tearing through the body of a moving car at highway speed. 4 tires shredded instantly. Any other car on Earth stops dead. This one keeps driving. That's not Hollywood. That's a Tuesday afternoon in France, 1962. And that car was like nothing the world had ever seen.
Picture this.
It's 1935. The world is broke, bruised, and barely holding together. In Paris, a car company called Citroën has just gone completely bankrupt. Their founder, André Citroën, is dead. The walls are closing in. But the company's largest creditor, a tire company called Michelin, steps in and takes control. And instead of shutting it all down, they do something almost crazy. They hire a bold new leader named Pierre-Jules Boulanger, and they tell him, build something the world has never seen. Boulanger launches not one but 2 revolutionary car projects. The first becomes the legendary 2CV, a tiny, bare-bones, brilliantly simple machine for the everyday French worker. The second project is bigger, bolder, something they call the voiture à grande diffusion, a mass-produced car for the future. Then World War II hits. France falls. The Nazis roll into Paris and seize Citroën's factories to build trucks for their war machine. But Boulanger doesn't surrender. He quietly organizes a workforce slowdown. His engineers deliberately put the oil dipstick markings in the wrong place, so those Nazi trucks would seize up and die on the road. The Germans hated him so much they put him on a formal blacklist. Enemy of the Reich. When the Allies came and the Germans fled, they apparently forgot to take him down with them. But here's what's remarkable. While the war raged outside, Citroën's engineers were thinking, planning, dreaming. And one engineer in particular, a quiet, methodical genius named Paul Mages, was sketching out an idea that would change automotive history forever. After the war, while American automakers were bolting fins onto their cars and calling it innovation, Citroën's engineers were doing something entirely different. They were building a car around science. Paul Mages had spent the war years developing a suspension system unlike anything on the road. No springs. No traditional shock absorbers. Instead, oil and air. A pressurized hydraulic system that read the road in real time and responded like nothing else in existence. They tested it on a donor car. The results were staggering. The car floated over rough roads like a hovercraft. It cornered with authority. It was, simply put, magic. And Citroën didn't stop there. They realized that same hydraulic system could power the brakes. And if it was already powering the brakes, why not the steering too? Power-assisted steering in the early 1950s was virtually unheard of on a family car. Most cars of that era used steering wheels the size of ship helms just to give drivers enough leverage to turn the front wheels. This new car would need just one finger. The steering itself would be rack and pinion, precise and direct, the same system every performance car uses today, but practically unheard of back then. The engineers went further still. The gearbox would be semi-automatic, hydraulically operated, no clutch pedal needed. The power would go to the front wheels, not the rear, which meant no drive shaft running through the middle of the cabin. More interior space. Lower floor. Better ride. And the body, oh, the body. While American designers were imitating the shapes of jet fighters, Citroën's team studied the aerodynamic principles behind those jets and applied them to a family car. They tested the underbody and smoothed it over completely, something no other manufacturer would bother doing for decades. The roof was held up by tiny, elegant pillars. The windshield wrapped around like a visor. The whole shape tapered and flowed like a teardrop doing 120 miles an hour. The hood was aluminum to save weight. The roof was fiberglass, a brand new material at the time. The steering wheel had a single spoke, not 3 or 4, so the driver could actually see the dashboard. Modern plastics, washable seat fabric, and optional AM radio. This wasn't a car.
It was a spacecraft.
And then, right at the finish line, the engine nearly killed the whole dream. The custom flat-six engine Citroën had designed specifically for this car turned out to be too heavy, too thirsty, and not powerful enough. They scrapped it entirely. The hard decision was made to drop in an older 1.9-liter four-cylinder from a previous model, updated but undeniably antiquated. It was the one compromise that would haunt the DS for years to come. Oh, and one more thing they added at the last minute. In 1953, a Jaguar C-Type won Le Mans using a new kind of braking technology, disc brakes. Citroën watched that race, recognized the future, and reworked the entire front end to include disc brakes, making the DS the first mass-produced car in history to use them. October 1955. Paris Motor Show. The curtain goes up. The crowd goes silent. There it is, low, smooth, almost alien. No chrome fins. No ornament on the hood. Just pure, flowing form, sitting on the showroom floor like it arrived from another dimension. They called it the DS, and in French, those two letters sound exactly like the word DS. The goddess. In a world still scarred by war, still rebuilding, still hungry for hope, this car was a promise. A promise that the future was going to be something extraordinary. By the end of that first day, Citroën had taken 12,000 pre-orders. By the end of the show, 80,000. No car in history had ever done that. It would take 60 years, until Tesla unveiled the Model 3, for any car to break that record. But like the Model 3, customers couldn't get their hands on one right away. Fewer than 100 people took delivery in 1955. It took 3 full years to work through the backlog. And when those early buyers did get their DS, some of them got headaches along with it. All that new hydraulic technology was brilliant, but when it failed completely. No brakes, no steering, no suspension, no gear changes, all at once. And because Citroën had kept the project so secret, most mechanics had never seen anything like it and had no idea how to fix it. Citroën rushed maintenance manuals to dealerships. They worked through the bugs. Slowly, painfully, the DS proved itself. By the early 1960s, France's most powerful man, President Charles de Gaulle, had made the DS his official car. And it was about to earn its legend. De Gaulle was pulling France out of a brutal colonial war in Algeria. A far-right organization, furious at his decision, decided the only solution was assassination. In 1961, they rigged explosives at the side of the road. The blast threw the DS sideways, but the car kept going. Damaged, rattled, but moving. The following year, they tried again. This time with gunmen. 8 bullets hit the car. All 4 tires were destroyed. Most cars would have crashed instantly, rolled, or stopped. The DS, riding on its miraculous hydraulic suspension even with flat tires, kept going. It drove de Gaulle safely to his destination. The president reportedly turned to his aide afterward and said he would never ride in any other car. The goddess had protected him twice. The legend was sealed. Through the late 1950s and 1960s, the DS family grew. There was the ID, a more affordable version with fewer hydraulic tricks, but the same extraordinary styling and ride. There were estate versions that could haul families and cargo. A factory-approved convertible, hand-built by French coach builder Henri Chaperon, turned heads everywhere it went. A specially equipped ambulance version used the silky smooth suspension to transport patients in comfort. On rally stages, the DS proved it wasn't just beautiful, it was fast. The ID won the Monte Carlo Rally
Twice.
It conquered the Morocco Rally 2 years running. In 1967 came one of the DS's most memorable updates, steerable headlights. The front end was redesigned with covered, swooping headlamps, and the inner lights were linked to the steering, swiveling as you turned into corners so you could actually see where you were going. It sounds obvious. Nobody had done it before on a production car. America banned the movable headlights. Federal regulations required fixed lamps, so U.S. buyers got a slightly different front end. It was one of many ways the DS was simply too advanced for the rules that existed at the time. By 1968, Citroën offered fuel injection, the DS pumping out 137 horsepower and reaching 117 miles per hour. A fully automatic gearbox arrived in 1971. The refinements kept coming, and sales stayed strong. The DS's peak sales year was 1,970, 15 years after it launched. That almost never happens in the car industry. Production ended in 1975. Nearly 1.5 million DS automobiles had been built, the vast majority sold right there in France, to people who understood instinctively what they were driving. Why did it take 20 years to replace? Partly because nothing else was close enough to justify it. The DS was so far ahead when it launched that the competition spent 2 decades just trying to catch up. But there was another reason. Citroën in the 1960s was spending money in every direction. They bought car companies. They bought a truck manufacturer. They acquired Maserati. They poured millions into the Wankel rotary engine, a project that ultimately went nowhere. They even started working on a helicopter. All of that drained the resources that should have gone into developing the DS's successor. When the replacement, the CX, finally arrived, it came during Citroën's second bankruptcy. It was a good car, a fine car, but it never carried the same magic. In 1999, a panel of automotive industry experts ranked the greatest cars of the 20th century. The Ford Model T came in second, the Mini came in first, and the Citroën DS, this French family sedan dreamed up during a war and launched into a stunned Paris showroom in 1955, came in third. Third best car of the entire century. Paul Mages, the quiet engineer who sketched hydraulic suspension in wartime and spent his career turning impossibilities into production cars, kept a quote on his desk from the French playwright Marcel Pagnol. It read, "Everyone thought it was impossible, except an idiot who didn't know and who created it." That's the DS. The car that couldn't exist. The car that stopped bullets, saved presidents, set records, and redefined what a machine could be. 60 years later, we're still talking about it. Some things don't just get ahead of their time. They own it.